Hi Billy, nice to meet you. Welcome to 小叮噹的店 Dora Shop Music. And it's an honor to have you here.
Ni hao everybody, it's Billy Gill from TAYLOR Guitars, and I'm very happy to be back here at Dora Music Shop. Thank you for having me.
Billy, I have some questions to ask you. At first, what is TAYLOR Guitars' philosophy and which TAYLOR model is good for beginner?
That's a very good question. The philosophy of TAYLOR Guitars, our history is really about pushing the boundaries, how we build acoustic guitars for comfort, for playability, adjustability, and service. So, unlike other guitar companies, we're really always pushing the edge and the boundary of what can be done. With regard to your question about what is a great guitar for a beginner, I think the best answer, in my opinion, is the Academy series. The Academy series was designed to be everything a great first guitar should be and nothing that it didn't need to be.
And next question, we would like to know your thoughts when you saw this TAYLOR wall as first time. And do you have any comments you would like to share with us?
Yes, as everybody can see out there, the TAYLOR wall behind me is very, very beautiful. This is something that we've been very focused on all around the world, building these areas of music stores that focus on TAYLOR as a brand. It's very nice for people who are shopping for guitars to know that there's an area designated for TAYLOR. Additionally, the information you see on the wall is very helpful for a shopper to read about the basics of who we are at TAYLOR Guitars, the basics of our shapes, the basics of our tone woods, and how they sound. Somebody get the information about our product line in a very beautiful area of the store. The wall looks great.
Next question is about size. Recently, many people have started traveling abroad. And do you know if GSmini guitar can be taken on board as a carry-on item without checking?
The answer is yes. The GSmini is one of the most popular and great sounding portable guitars or travel guitars in the world. We sell lots of them around the world, and the reason is very simple. It's a great size, and it's a big sound from that great size. It's always good to check with your airline before, but I believe that it can be, on many airlines, considered a carry-on bag. It meets the weight and dimensional criteria to bring on board. From airline to airline, their policies might differ, but yes, in my experience, you can carry a GSmini on. It has carry-on, and it will fit in the overhead luggage compartments, which makes it the ultimate travel buddy to travel around the world with.
What should we pay attention to when storing TAYLOR guitars? And is it possible for TAYLOR guitars to last 104 years?
Yes, when kept in good condition by the owner of the guitar, it's very possible. We build our guitars to last a long, long time. Obviously, one of the things that we need to mention first is humidity. Humidity can either make a guitar swell up if it's too wet. Humidity can make a guitar shrink if it's too dry. Humidity is the #1 factor to look out for as an owner, and I'm sure all your friends at Dora Shop will talk about humidity at the point of sale. But our guitars are meant to last hundreds of years. They're meant to be played. They're meant to be taken out into the world. The best thing about TAYLOR guitars is their serviceability and the ease at which those guitars can be put back into perfect factory spec. And that's done by our patented neck design, which we call the TAYLOR neck. But they are meant to be played and they're meant to be loved, and if they're cared for, they can last for hundreds of years.
And next question is about the PS14 model. The PS14 model uses red wood for top. Is it special or better than spruce? Or Honduras rosewood better than Indian rosewood?
Now, those are words that we like to stay away from. Special or better, because when you're choosing a guitar, it's really a very personal choice. Some people like smaller guitars, some people like bigger guitars, some people like brighter guitars, some people like warmer guitars. What makes the redwood on the presentation series special is that sinker redwood, and it is typically found at the bottom of rivers in Northern California. And when we say sinker redwood, we mean the easiest way for a tree coming from the forest to get to the mill would be to float down a river. right, to get to the mill. In many cases, some of the logs sank to the bottom of the river and stayed there for a long, long time. During that time, they picked up a lot of the mineral deposits in the bottom of the river, and when those logs are brought up from the bottom of the river and milled, you can see the striping and the mineral striations on the top. That's actually minerals that are deposited into that redwood, and under a gloss finish bring out beautiful purples and greens and the mineral colors that they absorb all that time underwater. So yes, it's a very special wood. If you take the sinker part of it away, it's redwood. Redwood is a softer top than spruce, and because it's a softer top, it's going to have an acoustic sound that's softer, rounder, warmer, and a little bit less loud than a spruce top. Honduran rosewood is obviously from Honduras. Our Indian rosewood comes from East India, where they've done a fantastic job over the decades of farming rosewood, right? They've practiced sustainable farming, which we feel very good about our partner that supplies us with East Indian rosewood. We know, and that's normally where we get our East Indian rosewood. Honduran is a little bit less plentiful. It's going to have different color, may look and sound better. That's a very personal choice, but because there's less of it, it makes it more expensive and a little bit more special, and that's why we feature it on the presentation series. But it's not a matter of special or better, it's a matter of what you prefer as a player.
Okay, it's a personal issue.
It's always a personal issue with the guitars, but it's hard to beat the looks, I'll tell you that.
Many users like the ES system pickups, the ES2 and ESB. What's the difference between ES2 and the ESB?
There's a preamp on both ESB and the ES2 systems, and the fundamental difference between the two pickup systems is the ESB is a more typical piezo system in that the film element sits underneath the saddle of the guitar. The ES2 system, the piezo elements sit behind the saddle of the guitar. The ESB is a little bit more basic pickup system. It's going to have an onboard tuner and an onboard EQ. And the ES2 system, I would call a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more three-dimensional sound, and it's going to adjust actively. So the main difference really is the position of the pickups, and also the fact that the ES2, you can fine-tune your amplified sound to a much larger degree than you can with the ESB system.
What is the most classical model of Taylor guitar? And another personal question, what is your favorite model?
I would say that, we're most known for the grand auditorium shape, and there's a very simple answer behind that. This is anything that ends in a 4. 114, 214, 314, 514, 814, 914, ES14. It's a shape that fits a lot of people's bodies, right? When we decide on which guitar that we want to buy, ergonomics, the way that it feels to our body, is one of the #1 important choices you have to make. So the Grand Auditorium is right in the middle. It fits a lot of people's body shapes perfectly, which makes it very popular. And then using tone woods, we can make that shape sound darker or brighter. So I would say if there is a classical Taylor shape that we're most known for, it's the Grand Auditorium. That being said, Andy Powers, our CEO, president, and master guitar designer, has made some really wonderful shapes of his own, namely the Grand Pacific you see behind me, a beautiful custom Grand Pacific. As far as personal choices, I grew up playing a traditional dreadnought, which was historically a Martin shape, but everybody made dreadnoughts through the 60s and 70s and 80s. So I like larger body guitars, and when I came to Dora's shop today, the first guitar I grabbed was that beautiful custom Grand Pacific. I like the sound of larger dreadnoughts and slope-shouldered shapes that are a little bit bigger, but it's good to know that if you're going to buy many guitars, it's good to buy different shapes that have different sounds, and they inspire you to play in different ways.
GS body and GO body, they are larger than GA body. What kind of guitar player would need these two body shapes?
Well, the Grand Symphony and the Grand Orchestra do fall on the larger side of our shapes. #1, we talked about ergonomics. Not everybody's body is going to be able to fit a larger body shape like a Grand Orchestra or a Grand Symphony, so you want to be conscious of that when you're making a purchase decision. Those guitars typically, as I just explained, can get louder. If you put the energy in, you can exploit that benefit of being very loud. The Grand Symphony is very unique now, as the new model has a sound port cutaway, which is meant to project the sound out to multi areas when you're playing the guitar. So it can be mic'd. It's a guitar that has the ability, the Grand Symphony, to really move the sound around the room. And that's done via that sound port cutaway. The Grand Orchestra is what we would consider kind of our modern jumbo. The interesting thing about Andy's designs and bracing is that even our big body shapes can sound wonderful when you back off and play them with a lighter touch. So one of the key features of the Grand Symphony and Grand Orchestra is no matter how you play them, they can sound very beautiful, quiet, played with a softer touch, and they can really get very, very loud. Historically, you would need a big guitar to make loud sounds and a small guitar to make delicate sounds. And I think one of the most wonderful things that Andy's done is you can achieve both of those things with larger body shapes if you prefer a larger body shape and if it fits your size. Okay, so everybody, we talked a little bit earlier about finding the body shape that fits you most comfortably. And if we assume that we've made that choice, I want to give you a little bit of a demo to see how tone woods can affect that shape and how important they are in the resulting acoustic sound of a guitar. So we've got 3 guitars here. They're all the Grand Auditorium body shape. We've got that beautiful presentation series with Honduran rosewood and a Sinker redwood top. And then we're going to move on to the 914 CE here with a spruce top. And then we'll end with the K24, which is all Hawaiian koa. These are very, very different tone woods. We're going to start with the softest. This is Sinker redwood. It is a softer top, which means it's going to have a warmer, softer sound. Won't have quite the volume of spruce or koa. And here we go. This is the Sinker redwood top on a Grand Auditorium body shape. Okay, so next we're going to move to the 914 CE top, which has also rosewood back and sides. This is East Indian rosewood back and sides with a spruce top. And right away, I could hear sitting in my lap how much the top end comes alive with a spruce top. Spruce is a very light, very flexible wood, and it's really one of the most popular choices for all acoustic guitar builders because it brings out so much projection on the top end, so much volume, and it brings that beautiful chime that we like to hear out of acoustic guitars. So this is jumping from Sinker redwood to spruce. I like that. Okay, and finally, we're going to hear what a hardwood top sounds like. This is the K24 CE. Not only is it visually very, very beautiful, I'm falling in love as we speak. This is the Grand Auditorium body shape made of solid Hawaiian koa. It is a harder top wood. It's going to make a lot of very strong mid-range projection with a lot of volume like spruce. So this is solid Hawaiian koa.
Many people often compare Taylor guitar and modern guitar. And is there specific feature of Taylor guitars?
Quite a few specific features of our guitars. And by the way, we love Martin guitars as well. We consider the guitar building world. I heard Bob Taylor once say it's like a well-balanced aquarium, right? And many people would like to think that Chris Martin and Bob Taylor would fight at the NAMM show. The opposite is true. In fact, Bob Taylor bought his first tone wood from Martin guitars. So there's a long history of a relationship between the two companies, and we love guitars in general, and we love what Martin does, and we love what we do. I think that the number one difference is that the neck joints are very, very different. Taylor has a bolt-on, glue-free neck construction, and Bob's great vision when he began building guitars was for superior playability and superior serviceability. The ease at which you could bring a Taylor guitar, back to perfect factory spec. To do a neck reset with a qualified Taylor tech takes about 20 minutes. That's a very, very, very big difference between that and any other more historic neck joint, like a dovetail or mortise and tenon neck joint. The fact that all of our guitars are always made of wood. We don't, even if it's layered wood on the back and sides, all of our guitars are always made of wood. We don't use any other alternate woods. The sourcing of our woods is a very unique story. If you listen to our Bob and our team's very hard work in Cameroon, Africa with preserving ebony for future guitar builders, that's a very big Taylor story. We have made great progress in farming koa wood on the Big Island of Hawaii as well. In the last 10 years, there's been a lot of people that we've worked with to make sure that koa has a very healthy future. But the playability, the serviceability, the fact that we are interested in building guitars out of wood are the big three differences, I would say.
The last question, Billy, could you share with any news about Taylor guitars with our Taiwanese friends?
Yeah, the best thing about Taylor guitars is there's always news. We're in February right now, and in January we introduced a change to our lineup. The American Dream series now incorporates the GT body shape. So there's now 3 shapes inside the American Dream series. The AD11, what you do is the GT is now the AD11. On the smaller side, the GT, the AD12 is the American Dream Grand Concert. One is slightly larger, the Grand Concert, and the AD17 is the American Dream Grand Pacific. The larger body shape, the Grand Pacific, in the American Dream series. Right? We have a brand new 400 series, and that is going to have some beautiful new inlay work with burst finishes on 3 different body shapes. So those are really the big news stories, but we're always doing something limited. If we find a supplier that can get us some ethically sourced special woods, we're always offering something limited. So the best thing about following Taylor on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube is that there's really always going to be something new. We're a company that looks to the future. And as I began this interview with you, I was explaining we're always interested in what's coming next. That's what off the top of my head is new, but ask me next month and I'll have another few things for you. We're always doing something new.
Awesome. Thank you, Billy.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me to our shop. Thank you to all our viewers out there, and thank you for the support of Taylor Guitars.